and welcome to our English news edition coming to you from Canal, Algérie. First, to the headlines. The former minister, advisor to the Ministry of Communication, official spokesman of the Presidency of the Republic, Bled Mohamed Ousseid, passed away on Tuesday at the age of 75, and the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, sends a message of condolences to the late's family. The Algerian State Television receives from the War Veterans Ministry a historical documentary series entitled The History of Detention Centers Chasing Colonial France. The Jaza Gros 2022 fair offers golden opportunities for the Algerian operators, and the products exhibited in the fair have reached international standards according to professionals. A huge draw ceremony for 5 sports categories was organized in Oran province on Monday, dedicated for the draw of the Mediterranean Games slated for next June. Good evening, those were the headlines. First, in our today's news, the former minister, advisor to the Ministry of Communication, official spokesman of the Presidency of the Republic, Bled Mohamed Ousseid, passed away on Tuesday at the age of 75 following a long illness. On this sad occasion, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, sent a message of condolences to the family of the late, in which he wrote the following: Allah Almighty wanted us to share with you the pain of the loss of Mohamed Ousseid, who joined his Creator after combating the disease with patience and faith. With his departure, we bid farewell with great affliction to one of the greatest professionals of the press, a man from the pioneering and experienced generation that has served the country with dedication through his various missions and the different positions of responsibility that he held, ambassador and minister, in addition to his contribution to political action. We knew the deceased as a nationalist man, fiercely committed to his country and imbued with the culture of the state. We can only accept the will of Allah Almighty, stressed the President of the Republic, citing a verse of the Holy Quran that translates to, "For each community there is an appointed term. When their time arrives, they can neither delay it for a moment nor could advance it." The President of the Republic concluded his message addressed to the family of Mohamed Ousseid by saying, "In the face of this ordeal and these difficult moments, I pray Allah Almighty to surround the deceased with His holy mercy and to lend you patience and comfort. To Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return." The late Bled Mohamed Ousseid had a long professional career, starting as a journalist at the Algerian State Television before occupying various important government positions. More details with Manal Ammari.
الملك فيصل إلى دمشق الوزير السعودي.
Bled Mohamed Ousseid became admired by Algerian viewers on the black and white screens of the Algerian national television. Since then, he had a successful career as a journalist and later on as a diplomat and politician.
موش مصاري الشخصي كتجيني هو معاناة الشعب. الأهم الآن هو ما يتعلق ببلدي، ما يتعلق بوطني، ما يتعلق بشعبي.
Born on January 20th, 1947, to a family originally from Boadnan in Tizi Ouzou province, Bled Mohamed Ousseid, former spokesman of the presidency and minister counselor for communication, had a degree in international public law from the University of Algiers, as well as a diploma in political science. The late began his journalism career at the national television establishment before being appointed general director of the daily newspaper Ashab, then general manager of the Algerian Center of Information and Culture in Beirut. Later in life, Bled Mohamed Ousseid became the ambassador of Algeria to Bahrain, the official spokesman of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, then the representative of Algeria to the Islamic Conference Organization, before being appointed Minister of Communication. The founder of the Justice and Liberty Party, Bled Mohamed Ousseid, passed away on Tuesday, May 31st, at 75 years old.
Moving on to the parliamentary activity, the President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil, held a meeting via video conference with the Chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China. The two parties discussed on the occasion the historical relations between Algeria and China. In this context, Salah Goujil said that human rights charter should not be used to interfere in the domestic affairs of countries. He also added that the next Arab summit, slated for November 1st, will have several challenges to meet and issues to discuss, namely the people's right to recover their sovereignty. For his part, Li Zhanshu hailed the decision taken by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, to make the year 2022 an economic one. He also put forward the new investment code that encourages foreign investment, recalling that Algeria is a strategic partner. The local elected officials are called to adhere to the national renewal process, and that during a statement made by the President of the National People's Assembly on Tuesday on the occasion of a parliamentary day organized by the Parliamentary Group of the National Liberation Front, FLN, on the provincial and municipal code. Brahim Boughali also highlighted the important role of the local authorities in the economic revival. On Tuesday, a group of students majoring in law and political science at the University of Abbas El-Gharour of Khenchla province carried out a visit to the Constitutional Court. On the spot, they were received by the President of the Constitutional Court, Omar Belhaj, and senior staff officials of the institution. The students also benefited from presentations and explanations on the missions and the role of the court in the establishment of constitutional justice in the country. In another development, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman chaired a meeting of the government during which several points were dealt with. First, in the finance sector, the finance minister presented a preliminary draft law defining the conditions for the modalities of granting concessions on the lands belonging to the state's private properties. As for the housing sector, the government listened to a joint presentation made by the Interior Minister and the Minister of Digitization and Statistics, a presentation on the 6th General Population Census. Finally, and regarding the ongoing preparations to commemorate the 60th anniversary of independence, the Minister of Mujahideen, or War Veterans, made a presentation on the progress of the preparations of this special occasion. The festivities that will start on the evening of July 4th, 2022 and continue until the 5th of July, 2023. Still with the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, who received on Tuesday at the Government Palace the Tunisian Minister of Energy, Neila Nouira Gounji, who is on a working visit to Algeria. A meeting that took place in the presence of the Energy Minister, Mohamed Arqab, that hailed the deeply rooted Algerian-Tunisian relations of solidarity and brotherhood while reviving the reality and prospects for cooperation, especially in the field of energy, as well as the importance of moving forward to implement the directives of the leaders of the two countries, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and his counterpart, the Tunisian President, Qais Said. In the same context, the Energy Minister Mohamed Arqab also received the Tunisian Minister of Energy, Neila Nouira Gounji, who was received on Monday by the Minister of Renewable Energies, Zian Ben Attou. She also met with the Minister Delegate in charge of small and medium-sized enterprises, Nassim Diafat. This visit of the Tunisian Minister is part of the Algerian-Tunisian Joint Commission in the energy sector, the aim of which is to find ways to strengthen cooperation between the two countries in the field. In another development, the Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Mtala Mamra received on Tuesday the Special Envoy of the European Union for the Sahel, Emmanuela Gloria Del Rey, who is on a working visit to Algeria as part of the political dialogue on peace and security issues in Africa. The discussions focused on the prospects for strengthening cooperation between Algeria and the European Union for the promotion of peace and security in the continent, notably in the Sahel-Saharan region, which is facing immense political, security and economic challenges. The two parties also discussed the situation in Mali in the light of the ongoing efforts to revitalize the implementation process of the Peace and Reconciliation Agreement emanating from the Algiers Accord. In this context, the EU's Special Envoy hailed Algeria's important role in finding a lasting solution for this cause, as well as its commitment for a united, stable, democratic and prosperous Mali. Finally, the two presidents agreed on the need to strengthen dialogue on these issues of common interest. Still with the Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Mtala Mamra, who received on Tuesday at the headquarters of the ministry the Executive Director of the African Union Mechanism for Police Cooperation, AFRIPOL, Dr. Tariq Sharif, who came to pay him a farewell visit on the occasion of the end of his missions. On this occasion, Dr. Sharif, who is a senior official in the African Union of Libyan nationality, informed Mtala Mamra of the progress made in the framework of the full and effective operationalization of AFRIPOL as an African police cooperation institution, which has a paramount role in the fight against transnational crime and terrorism. For his part, the Minister of Foreign Affairs paid a well-deserved tribute to Dr. Sharif for his efforts in Algiers at the head of an important Pan-African institution. In other news, the Energy Minister Mohamed Arqab received on Tuesday an Italian parliamentary delegation led by the chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs and the European Affairs in the Chamber of Deputies, who is on a working visit to Algeria. The same delegation was equally received by the Industry Minister Ahmed Zaghdar. For his part, the Minister Delegate in charge of small and medium-sized enterprises, Nassim Diafat, discussed with the Italian parliamentary delegation partnership prospects between the two countries. On Tuesday, and as part of the preparations for the upcoming festivities of the 60th anniversary of independence, the Algerian State Television received from the Mujahideen or War Veterans Ministry a historical documentary series entitled The History of Detention Centers Chasing Colonial France. The handover ceremony took place in the presence of the Minister of Mujahideen, L'Aid Rabiqa, the Communication Minister, Mohamed Bouslimani, the General Director of the Algerian State Television, namely Shaban Lonakel.
C'est quand? Un crime impuni?
C'est un instrument de torture morale et physique.
C'est une atteinte aux droits de l'homme.
Je suis révulsé de savoir que ces camps ont existé.
تم إنشاء المعتقلات تحت أسماء مختلفة. المشتبه بهم يعتقلون لمدة غير محددة لشهور وفي أغلب الأحيان لسنوات.
أنا أعتبر بأن الجزائر كلها كانت معتقلة.
أمر مصادرة بسيط، وهؤلاء المشتبه بهم يتم حجزهم في المعتقلات.
Une seule loi, la France. اللي يخرج من القانون هذايا il faut le détruire.
قمع لا يستثني أحدا. في القرى والمدن الجميع مشتبه به.
خطفونا.
In another context, the Jazago 2022 fair offers golden opportunities for Algerian operators working in the field of packaging, and the products exhibited in the fair are of a high quality according to professionals. More insight with Najah Tayyar.
Promoting a product while preserving its quality, an opinion that all the agri-food producers agree on, making sure to give special attention to the adequate packaging, hence the importance of the investments made in this area.
The selling depends on the visual, means if the product is well packed up, it's very well sold. We work in groups. We have a researcher's office, a marketing service, and also operators that are very well trained. The Zagreb Fair of 2022 witnesses the presence of numerous Algerian operators working in this field. The products exhibited are competitive in the opinion of the professionals. In Algeria, the technology of packaging is very advanced. We came here to search for a supplier of a high-quality packaging with a good price, and we have found many Algerian suppliers who have good products with competitive prices. Foreign operators also mark their presence at this professional fair, where many operators are searching for Algerian partners. Our first goal is to make the Turkish packaging product widely known in order to get to work with Algerian partners and companies. We are a packaging producer from Spain, and we have clients in Algeria. We aim to find more partnerships with Algerian companies and propose packaging solutions for their products. Becoming more demanding to the nourishment and grocery products, Algerians have pushed the producers to improve their packaging in order to gain a part in the market.
Moving on to Western Sahara, where units of the Sahrawi Liberation Army carried out new attacks against positions of the Moroccan occupation forces in the Mahbas sector. The Moroccan people intend to keep up the pressure. A national strike in the higher education sector is scheduled for the 7th, 8th and 9th of June. For its part, the Moroccan University of Vocational Training has made it clear that it would start its protest program on Thursday in Casablanca. The Moroccan Coordination of Contractual Teachers plan to renew its protest program for the next 3 months as well. Protests that all denounce the abusive legal proceedings practiced against their colleagues. Still with Morocco, where a popular revolution is fueled by poverty, inequality and corruption, demonstrations continue in many cities of the country, denouncing the chaotic social situation and pointing the finger at the Makhzen regime. Leticia Sidqawi.
These are the horrifying images that the coward regime of Al-Makhzen tries to hide at all costs, while promoting a fake image on Moroccan reality. Here, the Moroccan citizen has to stay the whole night in lines to only be able to lay hands on basic foodstuffs. We are here since sunset with no dinner, waiting to get flour that lasts us 15 days to finish the other 15 days at the bakery. This isn't a favor, we still pay a lot of money. A food crisis resulted by greed and social classes that further expands the hole between the exploiting class of Morocco's goods and the rest of the Moroccan population that today suffers for a drop of water. This is unimaginable torture for 3 years. There is no jobs or even water. We fight for water to fill our buckets and basins. Water is rare. Sometimes we get it at 1 a.m., then it's cut for 3 to 4 days. This is absolute torture. Even our clothes are dirty. A nightmare composed of thirst and an insane increase in prices shows the true colors of Al-Makhzen policy that won't even provide a free hospital bed for its sick citizens. This total poverty that the majority of Moroccans suffer pushed them to jump straight to danger to obtain food. All of these accumulations have fueled the Moroccan street that decided to no longer stay silent nor stop at demanding basic living needs, but also denouncing and refusing all that goes against their principles and honor.
Moving on to sports, and we start with the Algerian Professional League. CR Belouizdad, which is now a champion after beating US Biskra 2-0. CRB's dominance of the Algerian Football League through all the seasons allowed them to mark their name in the history of the Algerian football by winning the title of champion for the third time in a row, 2020, 2021 and 2022. With this achievement, Shabab Belouizdad adds proudly its 9th league title to its overall record. Congratulations. Still with sports, and for the first time in the history of the national football, the tickets to the stadium of 5 Juillet to attend the Algeria versus Uganda match scheduled for June the 4th as part of the Africa Cup of Nations 2023 qualifiers will be sold via an electronic platform starting from Monday, according to the Minister of Sports. During a seminar held in the western province of Oran, the communication minister Mohammed Bouslimani put forward the Mediterranean media's role in the promotion of sports and bringing peoples together. The minister presided over the opening ceremony of the international seminar on the role of regional news agencies in promoting sports in the Mediterranean region. This took place in the presence of the commissioner of the 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games, Mohammed Aziz Darwaz, as well as officials of the Mediterranean News Agencies Alliance. The draw of the 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games was organized on Monday. The ceremony was dedicated to 5 collective sports. More details with Narnia Al-Bahri.
A huge ceremony was organized in Oran province on Monday, dedicated for the draw of the 5 sporting teams concerned by the Mediterranean Games, planned to be held in the same province starting from June 25th. A ceremony broadcasted live for the first time in history by the National Public Television, and which was marked by the presence of several distinguished guests. The collective sports disciplines concerned by this draw are football, volleyball men and women, handball men and women, basketball 3 against 3 men and women, and finally water polo. The 8 nations participating in football have been divided into 2 groups. The Algerian selection in Group A will face Spain, France and Morocco, while Italy, Portugal, Greece and Turkey from Group B will challenge each other. Basketball will be played 3-on-3 with 4 groups for men and 3 groups for women. The men's national team will face Italy and Turkey, while the women will challenge Portugal and Serbia. Handball, which will see the presence of the biggest nations in the world, will be played in 2 groups, men and women. The Algerian men's team will face Spain, Turkey, Macedonia and Greece, whereas our ladies will face Spain, Tunisia and Croatia. Volleyball, a competition to be held in Boutlili Sports Hall, will see our men's selection challenge Greece, Turkey and France, while the ladies will try to qualify at the expense of France, Greece and Tunisia. The last discipline concerns the water polo with 2 groups, missing Algeria. Serbia and Italy remain the favorites. Oran province is now ready to host this 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games and shines as Algeria did 47 years earlier.
And finally, during a press conference organized at the end of the last working session between the organizing committee of the Mediterranean Games and the coordinating commission under the International Committee of the Mediterranean Games, Aziz Darwaz highlighted the high participation rate expected in this upcoming edition. More details with Manal Ammari.
A total of 5,400 people from athletes and companions will be participating at the 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games held in Oran from the 25th of June until the 6th of July, a significant number that is considered as one of the highest in its history.
I would like to thank the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, who attentively followed the preparations of the Mediterranean Games. Many obstacles were lifted thanks to the measures taken by the President, and we are very proud of the work carried out by the organizing committee, namely concerning equipment, hinting at the success of this edition thanks to the number of participants.
During a press conference organized at the end of the last working session, the Commissioner of the Mediterranean Games stressed that the new facilitations granted by the public authorities were set up in order to ensure the smooth running of this big event.
5,400 The number of participants at the 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games from athletes and companions expected to attend exceeds 5,400 people, which is a source of pride for the organizing committee. This large number is one of the biggest in the history of the Mediterranean Games, proving that countries on both sides of the Mediterranean trust us enormously.
For his part, the Communications Minister, Mohammed Bouslimani, insisted on the role played by the national press in highlighting the national and international dimensions of the 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games in Oran.
Many facilitations will be granted by our services for the benefit of national and foreign media regarding the coverage of the Mediterranean Games. The relevant services will put all the necessary means at the disposition of media professionals to fulfill their mission in the best conditions at the level of the press center of the Mediterranean Games. The role of the national press, both public and private, is very important to emphasize the national and international dimensions of this upcoming edition.
Present at this press conference, the governor of Iran showcased the huge investments carried out by the Algerian state in the realization of sports infrastructures that are now able to host this event, coinciding with the 60th anniversary of independence. The 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games will be broadcasted by the Eurovision and the International Olympic Committee's TV channel in 16 countries, which is a first in its history and is a sign of the success of this Mediterranean sports event.
And with this, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for joining us.